Maybe. I might have heard nothing but good things about you, by the way.
Give the things. Sorry, I don't understand.
Good things, actually. You're part of the EOSBs.
Yeah, I'm a EOS as a princess.
Nice.
Yeah. I read about you, Jimmy B.
Thank you.
Just before started the meeting.
Who all?
I actually watched the interview you had with Dan Larimer yesterday, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's thank you for watching that. That's great. Yeah, we're gonna do another roundtable this week with Dan on as well on Thursday. So please come and watch. We're gonna review the Eden process. So if you guys have any questions in the comments, you can do that.
Can't wait. It was a great interview. Thanks. Hey, who all's recording? I am recording.
I am gonna recording too.
Okay.
I can't record. Can you give me permission to record? It's not working.
Okay, I just allowed you to record, I believe. I'm adding everybody permission to record now.
Now I can record.
Okay, good.
Thank you. So one person is not come yet.
Yeah, it looks like
is it absent?
Mpalanyi, maybe Vicent. Right?
There are two people missing, I guess.
Okay.
I guess
how about we talk about, let's talk about us first, like introduce a bit. May I start first?
Yeah, thanks.
I'm Korean and I'm a princess bees of the EOS bees project. Do you know, guys, about the EOS bees? Yeah.
Are you creating those images? Those that's you, isn't it?
Yeah. I am creating the cutie porters, the NFTs. Did you see that?
Yeah, I bought one.
Really. We are doing it. The Korean hives. Okay, I'm gonna say like shortly first about like my idea, and I want to be a representative of this group, and I need the budget because like just the reason why is very simple. As a princess bee, I want to serve the proper viewers for the EOS bees who is working hard. Because of the EOS bees are based on the human labor, we need the proper viewers for them, like because like the NFT makings, the contents makings, who is developing the apps for the EOS, it takes time and efforts. But if we can serve only like 2 McDonald's hamburger a month, definitely it makes discourage people like do not want to do it anymore because it takes to like lots of the efforts. So for now, there are hundreds of the EOS in the world. So we are desperate to get funded. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? What type of activities are these bees conducting?
But can you say it more slowly?
Sorry, yeah. I understand that basically you are saying there is a lot of work in what we are doing, so we need some remuneration for this work. What I was wondering is what type of work they are doing.
What type of work?
How is that contributing to the EOS ecosystem?
The reason why EOS exist is familiarize and educate and get rid of the first of the EOS. I mean, the Korean Hive is doing the NFT making, which is the Marx saw that before, and we are making the contents for the guide for the base, how to use EOS and how to use the EOS wallets, that kind of thing. And we spread and influence to the world. We have 12 languages so far already, the hives, which includes the English and Spanish and French, German, Polish, Korean, like 12 kind of languages. So we can like work more like of the walls and very efficiently. You know what I mean?
I think I can kind of help to explain this because I know a little bit about it. I'm not an ESB's member, but I think the general idea of the ESBs was to go out there in the world and talk as a community about what's happening in EOS.
Yes.
Bees are actually really gentle creatures, but you know, if you get too close to them or you tick them off, they will sting you. So there is a little bit of an aspect of like, you know, being out there in the social presence and trying to you know, dissuade people from FUD and things like that. That's the general idea of all of the ESBs. Now I have a question, Princess. So if you got this funding, what would you do with it? Would you put it towards the whole EOSB's community? Would you divvy it out between other community members? Would you use it? Like, how would you use the funding if you got it, I guess is my question.
First, we need to discuss, I'm gonna discuss about the budgets, how to use with Quinn, who is hiring me. And I think we're gonna use it for the EOSBs first, because actually we need more budget because we are already hiring hundreds of people. That's why. And I can show you how the funds gonna be allocated with a diagram.
Sure.
While you're looking for that, is there anyone else running in this group?
I'm not planning on running for the simple reason that I'm a little bit busy. I have some ideas that I like. It depends on what you guys say that I might like to support and put them out there, even if the election doesn't pan out. But yeah, I'm not planning on running personally.
Okay, I am neither. And it looks like Enrico neither. Yücel, are you running?
Who? There's another person?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yücel
Okay, sorry.
Erdogan.
Hi.
Hello, are you running?
Hello. Yes, I'm running on.
Okay, so just something to keep in mind as a group. I don't know who is administering, but at least we know we need to give Erdogan a time.
Princess, Korean princess. I want to give the vote for him for it was bees.
Yes.
Because it's so great project, and I'm from Turkey, and we are working on bee projects in Turkey, and people don't know about EOS and EOS technology, and so we want to make people learn about EOS, and so the EOS bee projects is so are getting more common in Turkey. We started about 1 or 2 months ago, and so good now. And also EOSB projects, budgets and fundings are so important because in Turkey people are so weird because they want to be funding their sellers. So fundings are so important, and also because so they can work much, they can work better, and this make them feel relaxed and a reliable project. It make it. So I am voting for EOSB and also Princess Korean. I will give.
Hello, thank you.
So I think you should. That's not an advice. EOSB project is so great. For now, I can say. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, recommendations. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I'd still like to know like how you're gonna spend the funding, because I want like.
I wanted to show you the diagram a bit, but I can't do that. I don't know why. the host was blocked my screen sharing.
Maybe Mark,
can
can
you
you
do
open that
that?
up?
I'm working on it right now. In the meantime, if anybody wants to start casting votes, that may help. You know, I'm gonna make you a host, okay, Princess?
Yes,
All right, so you are now host.
thank
I
you.
kind of want to vote for the two of you together just because of that last comment. I'm going to make you a host, Princess.
Thank you. Can you see this?
And just for
That's-
clarity, I am not running.
Yeah, I know.
Can you see my screen, the EOS-based funding allocation example?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So if I get the funded and if I can use the budget, like firstly, I will give it to the Queen's account. So Queen gonna takes his amount of the EOS, and the world's Princess B is gonna be allocated their EOS, rely on their size of the swarm, like English hive and Korean hive, Turkey hive. There is a Turkish hive. Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I put some of them to Honey, which is multi-share account. So we can use it for the like public interest things like when we want to like co-work with an influencer, or when we want to like make events, like giveaway events, we need to make the goods of the EOS. So at that time, we need some budget to spend, you know what I mean? So Honey is for that, and the workers and scouts gonna get paid every twice a month. Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of your funding put into development. And one of the biggest problems in EOS is the ability to communicate between various parts of the world. And so I think like it's a lot of money that if you win, for example, I think it's a lot of money just to pay a few people from one project to make some NFTs and promote EOS. I think like there should be a plan to fund development of you know, collaboration between different languages, or you know, fund the building or development of some other platform beyond just marketing. I understand that marketing is great, but the allocation of that many funds, I think at least a portion of it should have kind of some physical development that improves the ecosystem as a whole.
Okay.
That's kind of my problem with your pitch. Is it kind of seems like you guys are just gonna fund your own project, and that will be beneficial for the EOS image as a whole, maybe. But after this election and those funds are used, what will we be able to see that those funds created that can still be used in the ecosystem? I guess that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm not against what you want to do with the funds, but I would like to see something that the whole community can use, or that exists for the whole community to be able to you know, improve the state of EOS. I guess what I'll try to say that one more way, just in case you didn't understand. It's kind of like treating a symptom instead of the problem. And so we've got like a lot of problems in EOS, and one of those issues is that there's a lot of FUD and people don't understand. But I think that that's actually a lesser problem than like onboarding people, or you know, creating things that are easy. And like, shout out to the Clarion team, by the way, because like this Eden thing is flipping amazing. It's head over heels better than it was before. And I was a big detractor on my show, and I on my show, the last trial election, because I just said that the whole thing was kind of like, it just didn't work, and like there were so many issues and so many problems. So I'm really glad to see that they've used Clarion to be able to build something that now the whole community can use in other projects as well. So I guess that's my only issue with what you're saying, is I'd like to see more than just marketing come out of these funds, if that makes sense. I don't know, like, if that's a fair thing to say or not, because I'm not running, but yeah, that's kind of my point.
Well, I think it's a great point.
Yeah,
And
I understand fully. And yeah, you're right. The biggest problem with EOS is negative sentiments across the social platforms and the lack of marketings. So marketing is needed too, but we need like something like proper measure to like we are working well, or some stuff that we can see and we can actually check, you know what I mean? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, or like, what about devoting some funds, because the ESBs has all of these hives with all of these languages across the world, right? And one of the biggest problems in EOS right now is misunderstanding between the East and the West, right? So what about what about devoting some funds to like internal marketing, for example, and getting these communities that are spread across different languages to understand. I mean, a good example is EOS Arabia, for example, right? Like they've been busting their tails off, but they never get any votes just because of where they're located and what they do, right? And there's a lot of like block producers out there that aren't exchanges, that aren't getting votes. And I think that this is a really important thing, right? Like there's this idea that Asia is kind of bad because, it's basically, what do you call it? It's basically like all these block producers from Asia, they're not really contributing to the ecosystem. So I would like to see more internal things like that, like, or even like something that was, set up like in terms. So if I were to run, for example, which I'm not going to because I don't have time, and I might run the second election, but if I were to run, for example, what I would like to create is a DAC structure that each and every project could utilize. For example, something like what exists in Eden. Like I'd like to pick something like Eden up and drop it into the Uplift world, which I'm a part of. I'd like to pick something like Eden up and drop it into EOSBs or drop it into any of these things and give the community back this way. And so like, even if you guys could use some of the funding to like create, so there's a really good example, for example, I think here, the DAC, right? Like DACs were always a really big idea, but they never really got proposed. Yeah. Like, so what if you use some of those funds to like, build out or amplify a DAC structure that allowed the EOSBs to communicate more like at a better level, and then that became open source technology that all projects could use. For example, like DAClify is one that's being used that's kind of structured in that way, but nobody's developing it anymore. So I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to see you develop something tangible beyond just marketing. That's my only problem. And again, I kind of feel bad saying this because I'm not trying to like, discourage you from running. I would just like to see a little bit more of I would just like to see a little bit more of something that goes back to the community. And like, I think if you can, I don't know, maybe we can come up together in this group with something, but yes. I think you're going to have a bit of a problem in the later rounds, personally, with it seems a little bit light to me. Sorry, Mark, you were going to say something before, and I think you got cut off, but if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say before, but it's probably something along the lines of this. I'd like to, one, agree, I got that in, that it's a good point that Jimmy makes, and I can't quite put the concept together for how I envision what Jimmy is trying to say, but I'll try by saying, if we can have some kind of a hard coded product that that touches, and now, or at least, and forgive me for belaboring this, at least something, and this is the heart of what I want to say, from you, Princess, that
Yes.
says, okay, acknowledge, and I'll carry that forward with my group as an early objective or concept for consideration, given that you guys don't really have a plan for anything like that right now. It doesn't look like, and maybe I'm wrong. Do you have do you have a translation function in the pipeline, or do you have a site that people can go to sign up for whatever? I don't know what kind of physical infrastructure you're going to be able to add or that you have in the pipeline for consideration. But if you say that now, I think that may speak to what I'm interested in.
If I may just add one thing, I fully agree with what has been said. I would add another point that if you're elected, you'll be assigned funds and you will be the fiduciary of the funds. So if I understand correctly, you said you're going to do what the Queen says, but you'll be the one responsible for spending the funds. So you need to make sure that you will be the one accountable for what happens if you receive the funds. So even if in the Hive there is a structure that is different from the one that is in Eden, still you need to make sure that the funds that you receive will go to they will be spent for the purpose that have been intended, even if the Queen says something else. So that's something you should consider, because ultimately we don't want to find ourselves in a situation in which at the end of this meeting we agree that the funds will be directed towards certain types of activities, and then you turn around and the Queen hijacks this plan, because then we have a problem. Okay.
Yeah, and one more thing on that too is like in what's in the chat as well, like $1,000 a month for the term of the election, or up to $20,000 a month for the term of election just on marketing, seems to me to be like a really really gross allocation of funds. Like that's a lot of money, right? That's like 100 grand easy. That is just for like social media marketing. I think there has to be some kind of tangible development that like the whole, even if it's open source, the whole community can use, the whole community can plug into, or even if it's like allowing every Hive to be able to designate funding to one project to help it build out. But like Enrico said, I think there needs to be some tangible thing, because I'm not adverse to, like, I'm not against putting you through, but then if nothing gets built, we're kind of responsible for that in a way too. And I kind of believe in the process, even though I'm not running. And again, I feel bad saying this, but yeah, I like making friends, but on this one, I got to stand on my, my beliefs on what EOS potential is actually.
Yeah. $20,000 a month. You nailed it again, Jimmy, with this point that you just made. I totally agree. It would be like, wait, we don't really have a plan for spending $20,000 a month. It doesn't seem like there is a plan for spending $20,000 a month. For spending $1,000. Yeah.
Can I say a bit?
Yeah, of course. Go. We've got 20 minutes left.
I think there is a misunderstanding. Like I know what you guys means, but like ESB is not just marketing. We are contributing in many ways, and Korean Hive already hiring like many talented people, not just spreading and influencing, like not just marketing. We have 2 developers who developed the do you know the EOS Knights, the game? Yeah, Korean Hive hired them, and we have 2 NFT makers and 1 webtoon makers, which is to put the story in it, like how EOS is good to the eco-friendly, and how it is like green, and how it is like consumes low energy, that kind of things. So I want to show you something before like, so the Hives Hive's gonna have like the 3 core swarm. First one is creative content producing. We just not depends on other person's information. We make the information, like right information for the EOS, and we spread and influence to everywhere, like with the active spreading. And we gather the data of the interaction and the people's reaction, and we can make with an index. And so we can like check how people react with the EOS information. Like, especially nowadays, the EOS is, there are too many thoughts and negative sentiments for the EOS, right? And the content creative things producing like can make the meme making, so familiarize about the EOS and make like lots of character relate with EOS and can make a goods, so we can use them for the giveaway events, so many people can like participate in the EOS community more easily. And then it could be anything, like as I said before, we have developer, so they can make the EOS-based game making, like play to earns, or like we can make more useful apps for the EOS. So it's not just a marketing project, which is kind of like very wide. And yeah.
So one question, it seems like this presentation here is focused on, I just want to clarify one thing, but it seems like this presentation is focused on the Korean Hive, but I think you said earlier in the meeting that it would be all of EOSB, so it would be allocated towards all the languages. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So who would be in charge of, who would ultimately be in charge of distributing the funds then?
All of the EOSB is going to be charged.
And how would, and so again, I still, you haven't won me over because all I see is marketing, like, and like I am, you know, working for a play to earn project and a block producer. And so I'm not trying to be misplaced again, but like, if I went to my team with this plan, they would tell me to come back next year or not at all. But you know, I want to play here with you because I think, you know, your intentions are good, and I understand where you're coming from, and I have friends who are a little bit involved with EOSB, so I understand that idea. But then how? So, for example, when we decide here, there's a very clear process that's laid out on who goes through the next round. And so you're saying that all of the EOSB's hives would decide how the funds are allocated. What's the process for that? Is it just a bunch of people sitting in a room saying, okay, you can have this money, you can have this money, you can have this money? Like, are you going to be implementing, you know, Claire EOS, for example, to do like a DAC structure like this? Are you going to build a DAC structure? Are you going to, you know, create some, you know, member client so that like people can come in and vote for where the funds should be allocated? Like, I'm really unclear on, so for me, the beauty of blockchain is transparency and accountability. And so for me, I'm really unclear on both of those things with your proposal. I don't know how this is going to be transparent, other than a bunch of people sitting in a back room deciding where the money is going to be spent. And I don't know how like the community is going to know what you did with the funds or be accountable. Again, I'm just saying, like, my reservations behind this, it's like I don't really understand how this whole process will work if you win, and where this money will go, and how it will be distributed and how it will be decided, right? Like, that's I guess my issue. I understand, like, you know, if you won like $1,000 a month and you used it on, if you used it on marketing to and games and play to earn apps to get people involved in in the EOS community, that would be great. But like again, like $20,000 to me, it just seems like we could do a lot more with that. The community could do a lot more with that.
If I may jump in, I think to be fair towards Princess, I think at this stage we should not consider the 20,000. If the following stage, if they don't consider the project to be articulated enough to deserve that budget, the project will be stopped at the second round. I don't think right now we should consider, you know, the 20,000 budget. I think we should consider the first layer. That is probably the 1,000, if I'm not wrong. So I think our decision right now should be: is this going to be something that we consider that is valuable? Is it going to be something that makes sense for spending, let's say, $12,000 a year on this? I agree with you that there is not.
What do you think? What do you think, Enrico? Do you think that it is going to be something in the future that's valuable to the whole ecosystem?
Well, I think I have some reservations, as you have, of course. Also, at the same time, I see that we are 5 people here. There is only one person that is willing to do something.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is also something that should be acknowledged.
Yeah.
I think that overall, I think the B project is something that came out from the community, so it's kind of recognized, and I think it could be beneficial to change the sentiment a little bit. I don't think it probably the most important thing right now, but still, you know, I would be in favor of saying, okay, I think, you know, it could deserve you know, an opportunity. I'm not, of course, you know, what I'm more concerned about is more like a commitment from Princess about the fact that it can direct the funds towards, for example, increasing the communication among communities, and maybe, you know, also just creating an investment thesis on EOS, because, you know, what is marketing about? Marketing is about communicating a message across that is positive, that adds value to people's lives. So, for example, in my opinion, we should, you know, not only get people to play, but we should get the EOS community to solve societal problems that are pressing, you know, because, you know, we may all end up with climate change while playing on EOS, you know. So to me, it's much more important that, you know, the promises that are made are kept, that we try to craft some messages that are important. For example, you know, why does it make sense to invest in EOS? How can the EOS community come together and really solve problems that are, you know, of a high importance for society? These are something that I'm more concerned about, because and that's so. But I would be, since, you know, we are okay, we could even say, okay, let's not agree on anyone to move forward. That money will go to another project. That could be also an option, but we don't know exactly to whom we are going to give the money to. So there's also this.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to, I guess, like, so no matter what happens, Princess, I would love for you to come on the Genpool Spotlight, or love for you to come on our channel and introduce this to the community. I think what you're doing is really valuable. And like, I think it's good. And I think you make a really good point, Enrico. Like, there's only one person that's willing to do anything in the group.
Great point.
So that's fair. And I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't vote Princess through. I mean, I guess more what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to push Princess to come up with something a little bit more concrete that he can use in the later rounds to help get the funding, or to help convince other people, right? Like, if we put you through, I'd like for you to take what we've talked about, all of these things, and try to like rethink a way to like maybe distribute it to a further point. So yeah, thank you for that, Enrico. Like, you are right, and I was sounding really negative. I didn't mean to be like so overtly negative.
No. It was very, very nice point out. I really loved it, and I could think about like again about like my plan and how we're gonna like works. Really,
there's 4 minutes left. Keep in mind, and also
I want to say
Erdogan.
I want to say one thing to Jimmy. Like, you told me that the beauty of the blockchain is the transparency, right? So the where the money goes, everyone can check because we're gonna use the EOS the nets, so you can see the transaction. And we already hired the accountants of the USA, so he gonna check and make the form to like do taxes or how we gonna spend the money for that. And about the honey, which is the multi-sig the account for the everyone, like we made already about the honey disbursements, like how we agree and how it works. And the working, how success will be objectively measured by the index we're gonna create. And I'm sorry that I didn't like prepare the English version for that.
No, it's totally cool. I live in a country that doesn't speak English, so I understand how difficult that can be. Here's what I'm going to do, Princess. Personally, I'll move forward about this. Enrique's got a good point. I'm going to vote for you because nobody else is going through, and I'm going to do it on the hope that if you get some funding of any substantial amount, that you dedicate a part of that to creating a system whereby all of EOSBs can have a say in what gets built, like in what gets decided, and maybe like fund some other projects out of that. I mean, if it was a later round, I'm not sure.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, we have 2 minutes, and I just want to make sure everyone is going to be able to vote, just keeping in mind, because it's only got 2 votes so far, so we haven't voted him in.
I just clicked the button. Oh, sorry, I didn't hit the submit button. Sorry, thank you. That's what it was. But yeah, I'll put that in for you, Princess, and thank you for the stress. But yeah, I just want to see like EOS do well as well. But
Oh, good. So it's 5 votes received. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just like I wish you the best of luck, but I just want you to ponder, using some of the funds for building some open source platform or improving some open source platform that like any project can use. I guess that's kind of what I want to say.
Okay, I understand. Anyway,
Down to 1 minute.
Really yeah.
So that's great. Great stuff, both you and Enrico and Yücel all. So
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, really thank you.
Good luck, and try to create an impact as big as possible, giving priorities to what is important.
Okay.
Also, I don't know what all you guys are doing, but feel free to reach out to me anytime. If you guys want to come on the show and talk about what you're doing in the space, I'm managing 2 or 3 different shows. One's for a block producer. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to press things forward. You guys are always welcome. It was a fun little process to sit in here. Again, I'm sorry, I'm the critic, I'm the cynic. But it was great to be here with you as well, Mark. I haven't seen you in a really long time, and as one of the people who inducted me in the Eden, it's kind of a nice experience to share. So, thank you guys.
for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Really thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Really thank you.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
See you.